I will ping people in here that are actual historians that will co-sign on all of the things that I have just said, that will back up all of this, and the only opposition that we seem to get to the truth are from people that have no clue. They woke up on Clubhouse one day, sometime a few days after October 7th, heard people talking about this, and then decided, oh fuck, I'll run the other playbook. I'll go ahead and argue devil's advocate, and I don't even believe they're all Jew haters. Like, if you want my honest opinion, I don't think B-Master hates Jews. I think what she's comfortable with, though, is repeating the tropes that people that hate Jews repeat, which makes her a useful idiot. But
just real quick, I guess my two questions onto what you just said for clarification is, one, what would be your definition of a terrorist? And two, how would you identify one just based off eyesight and not based off information files or prior knowledge of who the person is? When it comes to terrorists in your country.
Yeah, so terrorists are those that use violence and threats of violence to achieve their political goals, and that's by definition what a terrorist is. Now, in terms of identifying who they are, I would think that the intelligence community within Israel and within the West in general would do a very good job of identifying who these people are. This is why when the terrorist beepers were going up, giving a whole new meaning to the term blowing up my pager, you didn't see these in the pockets of civilians. These were not shopkeepers whose beepers blew up. These were terrorists. That was one of the most genius things that I've ever seen happen, where there was a very specific tactic used to target and destroy terrorists.
But I do have one little question on that, and then is that same intelligence agency that you would say would do a good job identifying them, what do you think went wrong for them to be able to have the strength or the ability to identify them coming into Israel, but couldn't identify the October 7th attack incoming?
I think there was security failures, and I think everybody in Israel would acknowledge that. Defending your homeland is something that requires 24/7 vigilance. There was definitely some mistakes made. What I can also say as an American is that you can have the mightiest military, the best intelligence in the world, and if you have a committed enemy, they can wreak havoc on you. And so this is why there's a committed effort now to take these terrorist groups out. If you look at what the declared goals of the war are, it's to end Hamas and it's to free the hostages. So if you think about that, right? If somebody's saying they don't like what the IDF is doing, what they're saying is that they disagree with the goals of the war. The goals of the war are to free hostages and to end a terrorist group. And so then you get people like B-Master that come in here that want to make you feel that that somehow these guys are freedom fighters. It's fucking crazy.
So the only thing that I would say is don't listen to 95% of what Roger says about me. If you're curious about my personal views, please ask, because 95% of what he says is just
Okay, Bima, is Hamas a terror organization?
Of course. Hamas is a terrorist organization. If any person has harmed other innocent, peaceful people, yes, absolutely. Okay. However, I will also say that that's the question. That's the real question. Historically, it did October 7th happen in a vacuum? No, we know that. We know. You could ask Israeli Harvard professors, Jews who write on this topic, who I'm sure don't have great information about all the other topics and conflicts of the world because their main focus is one particular topic. Okay, but I digress. So anyway, my challenge to the Palestinian not being a people and all this other stuff. What El Normo said earlier, he said that when I had mentioned that the Arab Congress was asking the British multiple times for them to be able to have their own nation state, and it was rejected over and over and over. El Normo said, no, well, you know what? There wasn't even a Palestinian at the Arab Congress. And I looked it up. I am reading through the actual papers, the actual reports given and presented to Winston Churchill, the report of the state of Palestine, presented to the Right Honorable Mr. Winston Churchill by the Executive Committee of the Third Arab Palestine Congress. This is in 1920. Okay, the people that represent, they were all not only Arab, they were families living there. Some of them were also Muslim Christians. Okay, but they were all people of their places that they've listed were Gaza. Let me see, Jaffa.
Can I cut you off for a second?
There were multiple areas within Palestine that they came from. So there was absolutely who wrote that specifically to Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill.
Okay, we get that. Let you all respond to you.
So go ahead.
We've been through it. There was a place called Palestine. It was a region, not a country. So, are you aware of the fact that they have been offered statehood in 1947?
Oh, we're not talking about 1947. We're talking about, I reversed, because 1947 is something different. We're talking about, because listen, you can't use the same argument of, let me see. Earlier, El Normo said all of the nations like Pakistan and Greece, all of these nations were formed in the 20th century, just like Israel. If you were to say that, you can say the exact same thing for the people of Palestine, who considered themselves Palestinian long before 1948, who referred to themselves as Palestinians. In their congresses, in their newspapers, how they operated, it had the Palestinian pound on their own currency. It was in their currency long before, in the early 1900s, 1906 to 1917, long before this. Okay, and this is my claim. The British rejected and would not allow them to become a people. Now I'd be happy to hear why Winston Churchill continuously denied, why they denied the Arabs specifically, okay? Why they said, no, sorry, you cannot have a statehood, you cannot become.
What year are you talking about? What year?
Anything during the Arab Congress, so the first, second, or third Arab Congress, so you could respond. I mean, you could look at any of the official Churchill white papers where they responded, where Churchill responded specifically to the Arab Congress, where he has. I mean, just go look it up. He says very specifically why he is denying.
Go look it up. She just learned about it.
Right. Absolutely, 110%. I've been.
It's actually funny, but there was no formal.
3 hours and reading through the
entire. There was no formal offer of an independent Palestinian Arab state made specifically by Churchill anywhere. I don't know what you're talking about.
Hold on, wait, say that again.
There was no formal offer, okay, of an independent Palestinian Arab state made specifically by Churchill anywhere. I don't know what you're talking about.
It wasn't. No, you gotta listen. It wasn't.
That's what you said.
It wasn't made.
You said he declined them of having a statehood. That's what you said.
Yes, he did. That's
but
correct.
there was no formal offer of independent Palestinian Arab state specifically even made by him. So how would he even decline it if there was no formal offer even made?
Oh, yes, it wasn't made by him. It was made by the Arab Congress. It was specifically.
You said it was rejected by Churchill. That's what you did. Anybody else hear that correctly? Because I'm fired.
That's exactly what she said.
That's what she said. That's what she said. Bima will never walk back She'll never walk backwards and say something silly.
Roger,
Well,
please.
Roger, she's just now on the fly.
I want to be honest.
ChatGPT is explaining everything to her right now.
What I'm trying to communicate is that the third we were talking
Bima,
about
name
the
3 of the kibbutz.
Roger, please, Rich. We're talking about the Arab Congress. That's what I had brought up to El Normo, where he said that no Palestinian was a part of the Arab Congress. So then I went to go read it, and so I read the reports. One is called the Report of the State of Palestine, presented to Winston Churchill by the Third Arab Congress. Jerusalem.
You can need medication.
This
You
is
need an extra afternoon already.
why is it that whenever we're talking about real stuff, everyone else crashes out?
You're crashing out.
Hold on, Rich, you're not helping.
I can put the information in the response.
Bima, I got a question. Scale from 1 to 10. Where do you rank your expertise on Israel? 1 meaning you know nothing, 10 meaning you know everything. Where do you rank yourself?
Roger, let me ask you a question.
This is a simple one.
Hold on.
This is a simple one.
I'm going to.
This is a simple one. What are you doing? What are you doing? No, I'm not PCR. Let's don't.
Assess the truth value of what I'm saying.
Bima, I'm asking.
All of my opinions are
Hold on. Bima.
You're dishonest, Roger.
No, I'm asking you a question.
You
How did a question be dishonest? How did a question be dishonest? I'm asking you a simple question.
Why should I engage?
Why are you crashing out? 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 Okay, got it. I'm going to ask you a question. And I want you to engage in good faith here. Scale from 1 to 10. Where do you rank your expertise on Israel?
Roger,
Hold on. Hold on. 1 meaning you know nothing. 10 meaning you know everything. Where do you rank yourself?
Notice as soon as the topic gets interesting,
I'm asking you a simple question. It's a simple. Hold on. Put a 1 in the chat if you think that was a.
This is the type of thing that
Hold on.
Forget real factual information.
Put a 1 in the chat if you believe that Bima is dodging a very fair question. Just put a 1 in the chat if you thought the question was fair and that she's dodging it. Bima, now go ahead and look at the chat, and now I'll ask it again. Scale from 1 to 10. 1 meaning you know nothing, 10 meaning you know everything. Where do you rank yourself when it comes to your knowledge of Israel?
I wouldn't know. I'd have somebody else rank me.
Okay, well I'll rank you a 2. At least you know it exists. So I'll give you a 2. I would just this is advice for everyone on every topic. If you're not, listen, you can comment whether you're an expert or not, but I would say that the less that you know, like if you're like B-Master, you should be doing more asking of questions to gain knowledge and do more research to gain knowledge than to sit here and pontificate as if you know fucking everything. It makes no sense. You make no sense, B-Master. Make no sense.
She has ChatGPT. So I was talking to El Normo earlier, and I always say that any communication, anything that I say, if you have a better information to counter whatever I'm saying, I'm open to it. Just like El Normo. El Normo actually engages in fucking critical thinking, unlike Roger, who likes to just put a logical fallacy, slap a logical fallacy on absolutely everything, deflect, make sure that you don't talk about the actual shit, lie on you, inflame the conversation. It's total trash. No, it's total trash, and it's dishonest, okay? It's complete trash. El Normo and I had this discussion earlier. So what did I do, Roger? I got the fucking information and I read it. I just spent the past 3 hours reading through several pages. One was 64 pages, one was 100 pages, the other one was 38 pages, okay? Reading through the information, and then I come back to say, okay, well, now I have more information. Let's talk about it. looks like you're wrong. I could have just ChatGPT'd and got a quick answer to say, oh, hey, what do you say? And then go back and say, oh, no, I just ChatGPT'd it. I just ChatGPT'd it. It looks like you're wrong. What did I do? I wanted to get the actual evidence. I wanted to read through it, to be objective. And that's
this is
then when I do it, of course. Oh, go read. You don't know.
Why you're single runner.
Hold on. Bima, just another question for you. You can decide if you want to answer or not. You're not really doing the whole question answer there right now, but I'm genuinely curious what time the afternoon pill. What time do you typically take it?
She's gonna do some research on that and get back.
Okay, that's good. Look, a good old fashioned mood stabilizer would probably bring a lot of relief.
Great way to deflect from a great conversation. You guys are just.
I'm trying to get clear on what your claim is. Is your claim at the Arab Congress? They were like, we're gonna have a Palestinian state, like the indigenous Palestinians that live there. They're going to get a state. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, not that they were going to get a state, but that's what they were advocating for. That's what they got. That's what the Arab Congresses were about, and they were asking the Brits if they could have their self-sovereignty to create their nation state, and they were rejected.
Okay, Bima, so you were right about one thing. There was an Arab Congress, but there wasn't a Palestinian Congress until 1964. You can go check it out.
So the Arab Congress, which I said the third Arab Congress specifically they were specifically nothing but Palestinians. They came from 4 jurisdictions. They were Arabs. They were mostly Arabs. There was also some Muslim Christians. It gives it all in the paper. The state of Palestine. This is what I was just referring to earlier.
1964.
1920. 1920. Okay, 1920. The specifically, I'll get the name again if that's what you need.
There was no Palestinian Congress before 1960.
Yes, there was. It was called the Third Arab-Palestine Congress, 1921. Yes, it was. And yes, it was. It was.
Jews was in it too, because Jews were Palestinians too.
It didn't matter. It was a people. Of course, there were, and you can see that in the census of 1922. There were mostly Arabs, but yeah, absolutely, there were Jews. There were also Christians, of course. But the claim was that there was no Palestinians a part of the Arab Congress, and that's clearly false. That was a lie. That's not true. They were nothing but Palestinians. They all came from actual places inside what was considered Palestine. Gaza
Syria too. Syria too, right?
Syria, no. Not Jordan. No, they were not.
Of course it was Syria. What are you talking about? You know, the idea of Palestine was, they had the idea of Palestine as the greater part of Syria.
She doesn't know the history. She doesn't know the geography. She's just learning about it.
I was talking about the places that the people of the Congresses came from. And they came from, I found it, Jerusalem, Jaffa, Haifa, Nablus, and Gaza.
Craziest
I don't know where Jaffa is. I know where Jerusalem is. I know where Nablus is. I know where Gaza is. Jaffa and Haifa, I don't know where that is. So if
it's
that's
pronounced
it, I don't know.
Haifa is in the north of Israel, and Jaffa is very close to Tel Aviv.
Inside Israel? Is Jaffa and Haifa, is that inside the Israel, or is that somewhere else?
That's in northern Israel.
Okay, so and both of them.
I'm glad you're learning on the fly, Bima.
Rich, do you know Jaffa?
Yeah.
Where's that? Where is that? Where?
We've already told you. We've already asked you.
Right next to Tel Aviv.
Where are the fucking kibbutz? Can you name any of the
Thanks for your
kibbutz?
not help. You're all.
You know, I asked you if you could name any of the kibbutz.
Shut up.
You just
Shut up,
really
Rich.
want
You're
to
an
answer.
ankle biting.
Wow.
You're an ankle biter. Shut up. Anyway, Harry was whoever else was responding to that.
So not ad hominem?
Jerusalem, Jaffa. No, of course it's not an ad hom. He just disrupted the conversation to say I didn't know where it was. I asked him to provide the information and then he was provided. Okay, he's been doing nothing but what are you talking about, Yov? He's been attacking me the entire time. He's not presented a single argument. He's just personally attacked me. Come on, what the fuck? Are you serious?
All right, hold on. We're gonna do a room reset. Listen, we're in the muff. If you enjoy being in the muff, welcome. welcome. If you don't enjoy being in the muff, you don't have to be in the muff. Some people don't like the muff. Some people don't want to be in the muff. Gays don't want to be in the muff. You certainly don't have to be in the muff. This is a choice to be in the muff. Bima chooses to be in the muff. I want to ask a few questions. I want to get some other people involved on the stage. I want to just figure out if we could maybe advance this conversation beyond the low information, high confidence people, and maybe get like maybe we'll welcome the lower confidence, high information people to speak. That might be fun. That might be an interesting twist here. I also, before we get started again, does anybody do like breathing exercises? Anybody? Is anybody here into that row? I don't know if you're awake. And do you do breathing exercises? Nye, do you? Nye?
Absolutely. Meditation, all that good.
Yeah, can we just like lead? I think it might be quite beneficial for at least one person in the room to take some deep breaths and just, maybe just clear the mind. If you could lead us through a deep breathing exercise now, and then we continue the conversation. I think this would be helpful. Bima, please participate in this.
Yeah, absolutely. Can we all just mute up for a second and just take a deep breath? 4 counts in. Hold it for 4 counts. And release it 4 counts. I would do that 3 times. It might help to close the eyes, so close your eyes. Deep breath in. Hold. Break. Breathe out 4 counts. And repeat if necessary. It does help to close the eyes so you're not distracted visually. Just think of, a cool breeze over the mountains. Just be calm and chill. And if it helps, pop a pill to relax. If breathing is not your thing, or load the bomb, take a few hits, and just chill out. Thank you, Roger.
Well, I sure got a lot out of it. I hope others have as well. That was good. I feel much more relaxed. Now that we've relaxed, Bima, go ahead, continue. I think we might have hypnotized her, put her to sleep.
I think her ChatGPT might be.
Of course, I love when the high information people speak.
So, if you were here, suppose it would be called the Arab-Palestinian because the whole region was called Palestine, so it would be called the Arab-Egyptian, or the Arab-Jordanian, the Arab-Syrian, because the one of Syria per se. But the what you call the Arab-Palestinian, they didn't define themselves as a people, they defined themselves as Arabs. And Jews were also Palestinians, and as you said, Christians were also Palestinians. So your point is mute about the Arab-Palestinian Congress. That's what I wanted to say.
I don't think that's logical at all. You have Herzl writing in 1896, specifically referring to a specific place that is the area, the geographical region of Palestine. Okay, so in your argument,
Syria, Jordan, all these places.
Hold on. Herzl writes about it, and too often between Argentina and Palestine, okay? Palestine, we know exactly what he was talking about in 1896. Okay, you have the people of Palestine have the Palestinian pound written on dollar bills and on coins. There's newspapers, they refer to themselves, the Arab, there's just way too much, it doesn't make sense. And if you're going to use the same exact argument of, well, Israel, just like El Normo said, just like every other country in the 20th century had to, this was a slow a process of becoming. Yeah, then why wouldn't it be the same for the Palestinian people? That's exactly what they wanted to do. They wanted to become a sovereign, a nation state, right? But the British, and this was my question to everybody else, to the more intelligent, high IQ people in the room, which I'd like to know more about, because as Roger says, I'm an idiot, low IQ, whatever else. Why did the British decline multiple times the Palestinian people a nation state? For what reason?
They didn't.
They didn't. They gave it to them in 1947 and they declined it. Why did they decline it?
Because they don't want to stay in Israel. They don't want you.
Why did they decline it in 1947?
I'm going to assume it's because they wanted the area. They wanted to fight against. They were nervous about the Zionists taking over the entire region as they wrote in the Jewish state as also.
They want the Jews to be subjugated underneath them. They don't want you to fight.
Well, I mean, like it could go both ways, though, Rich. Do you see how?
No, they want them to be dhimmis. They want them to pay jizya and be their third-class citizens. And you treat them like shit, like they did under the Ottoman Turkish Empire, like they did under the Khalif, like they did under fucking Ali.
You know what? My question to you is, I'm not talking about 1947. I'm talking about the 1920s, 1970s.
I don't know what was the British motivation.
Okay, well, let's find a high IQ person who knows history, and let's answer that question.
What is your third one coming?
I never said it was.
Oh my gosh.
Otherwise, I would have given the information, huh?
Bima, let me ask you. Hold on, Rich. Bima, let me ask you this.
I don't want to do your games. I don't want to.
I'm gonna present logic to you. Oh my God. You okay? Question. So, if Israel was not well armed, what do you think the Arab nations would do?
Well, I mean, you'd probably have taken them out.
Yeah. And what I think is interesting is that Israel does have arms, and they have well-trained military, and they have very sophisticated weapons. If Israel's desire was to commit a genocide, they could do it.
It's fake.
It's within their grasp to do it. It's just not within the desire of their hearts to do that. They had the means to do it. And this is the thing that I don't think people like yourself are considering, is that if it were the other way around and the Arab nations had the superior military,
Crunch.
Jews wouldn't exist. Israel wouldn't exist. Well, the fact that they have
67 and 60.
I understand. In any chance they get, with any chance they get, they will take that. This is why, like, Iran can't have a bomb. That question comes up. I hear people say, well, hey, if the U.S. could have a bomb and China could have a bomb and the UK could have a bomb, why can't Iran have a bomb? The reason why you can't have weapons like this in the hands of evildoers is that there are some people on this planet, whether you want to accept it or not, Bima, that are dedicated to destroying the state of Israel and to killing Jews. And until you wrestle with that fact, you're never going to make any sense in these conversations, because you're ignoring the one fundamental difference that separates Israel from their enemies. Is one country genuinely wants to live in peace, and the rest of them don't want that country to exist or their people. to exist. I don't understand why you can't get it. Did she finally fucking leave? Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
she did. Yeah, she just is.
I think that was one that ChatGPT wasn't giving her good enough prompt for. Ken, you missed the lecture. I'm glad Ken's here. Ken will agree with me wholeheartedly. The worst thing about this app are people that have high confidence and low information. The people that make up bullshit, the people that will recite lies, and they do so, and they will argue with people that have, information that resemble facts. And they will, despite their lack of education, their lack of knowledge, that high level of confidence causes them to disregard their low level of information and to just say whatever the fuck comes out of whatever comes to mind, they're just going to say. I'm on a crusade. Maybe I shouldn't use that word.
Influencers today. He was
fucking I'm on a crusade to clean Clubhouse up when it comes to that behavior. Beama's a perfect example of it. Truth was a lesser example of it. If you go to Chillism and you see guys like Ike and Concrete, they're a perfect example of it. But we should start spotting this stuff and just say, hey, look, we're trying to have an adult conversation. Clearly, you have a lot of confidence and not a lot of information. And I think we should just tell these people, instead of entertaining ourselves with their stupidity, because that's what we've done the last few hours is just us, laughing at them. I think we should stop that. I think we should try a new tactic, and we should just ignore them.
When I saw the title of the room, I didn't expect it to be this room. I actually expected it would be like a room I'd really dislike. I almost, from the title, I'm surprised that I don't know, you're allowed to give it the history. I almost wanted to report the room just for the title, without even going into the room. I figured maybe I should just listen for a second.
Yeah, well, I would say it's probably a good practice to not report room titles, and because you got to get context. This was sarcasm. Bima was in here lecturing Jews about her knowledge of the conflict. She's somebody that claims to be aware that there's more nations at war today than there have been since any time since World War II. But for whatever reason, she's obsessed about talking about the conflict with Israel. And, when you start trying to ask why, and all of her arguments are just repeated bullshit of anti-Semitic tropes. And we're trying to decipher, does she hate Jews? Or does she just so stupid that she's repeating these things? I can't assign intent. I can just say that I can identify very clearly her bullshit. Ken, you would have been so frustrated.
No, but I have no idea who she is. Never even heard of her. So you could just imagine, somebody maybe just scrolling. Maybe they're a new member. I don't know, like near the clubhouse, and you just see a title that says someone lectures Jews. I mean, you just intrinsically know that's anti-Jewish, okay? Intrinsically, okay? And that's why I really don't like that title, okay?
Yeah. Well, it was definitely a poke at her and not a poke at Jews. It was.
I get what you're saying, but hopefully the average person will look at that title as they scroll through the hallway.
Hey, Roger.
Yeah.
Galaxy said he wants to contribute to the room and edify it.
I never said a motherfucking thing, bitch. Don't be calling out my motherfucking name, bitch.
Not too much on Chicky.
Okay, we're not going to talk like that, Chi-Chi.
I'm going to talk however the fuck I want to talk with your bald head.
Okay, you can talk to yourself.
I need to use it to enjoy him.
You see how that works, Chi-Chi?
So Mojo, what's in the muff? I mean, I've seen that room or whatever, a house before. I've never actually even gone in it. Is that one of yours or something?
Yeah, in the Muff is a place that many people on Clubhouse desire to be. There's some people on Clubhouse that have never been in the Muff. There's some people that'll never be in the Muff. But this is, I would say it's a cozy, comfortable, perhaps even moist place